Do not give your details out to anyone. Anyone. You only need the booking reference number of the other learner driver if you're doing a swap, okay? Don't give out your information, please and carrots. All right. This is a video about the driving test booking system changing, and I just want to talk about that because it's happening tomorrow from the 12th of May, and yeah, I just want to put this out there. So basically, it's been an absolute flipping mess for ages. So we're going to be talking about how many times you can change the test, yeah, what location the test centre has to be in, whether you can swap it with another person, whether your instructor can get involved, yeah, what to do if you're swapping with a complete stranger, and I'm just going to go into loads of depth about it. So I've been given all the stuff by email by the DVSA, and I'm also using the government website to deliver all this information to you. So I'm basically just reading. I'm just reading each page to you. All right, guys, just so you've got all of the information that you need. There's quite a lot of information here, but the most interesting stuff is how to swap your tests. There are so many rules on this. Yeah, it's quite a minefield, and I need to give you all the information, then you can decide what you want to do with it, right? Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's just begin, right? Because there's loads to get through. Okay. So booking and managing a driving test. So who can book and manage a driving test from the 12th of May, which is tomorrow? Only the learner who is taking the driving test can book and manage their test. Other people can support or help them, but the learner must make the booking themselves. Can parents, instructors, or others help a learner book a test? Yes. Learners can receive help from parents, instructors, or others, including support for disabilities or language barriers. However, the booking must still be made by the learner. Will learners use a new booking system from the 12th of May? And will there be any updates or improvements to help learners find the available test slots more easily? No. Learners will continue to use the existing gov.uk booking test system, which will remain the same as it is. Are there any new security checks when booking a test? Learners will need to do a self-declaration to confirm that they are the person taking the test and agree to the terms and conditions when using the booking system. No additional identity checks are being introduced at this stage. Do learners need an email address to book the test? Yes. An email address is mandatory. Learners must provide an email address when booking so they can receive important updates about their test. This bit's about legislation, and if you wanted to read about the legislation in full, then you can press on the link that is on my Facebook page. Changing or cancelling a test. How many times can a learner change their test from the 12th of May? Right. Oh, sorry, this is running out of battery. Of course it is. Changing or cancelling a test. How many times can a learner change their test from the 12th of May, tomorrow? Learners can change their test date or location up to 2 times. After this limit is reached, they cannot make further changes. What happens if a learner has already changed their test twice? If a learner has made 2 changes, they can cancel their test and rebook it, which will reset the change limit. Does cancelling a test reset the change limit? Yes. If a learner cancels their test, the change limit resets. If the DVSA cancels or rearrange a test, does that count towards the 2 change limit? No. When DVSA cancels or reschedules a test, the learner is not penalised, and this does not count towards the 2 allowed changes. Swapping driving tests. This is where it gets like detailed. Swapping driving tests. Does DVSA run or approve a test swapping system? No. DVSA will not be facilitating the listing or matching of driving tests for swaps. Learners themselves are responsible for finding someone that they want to swap with. Guys, if you're swapping with your friend or you're swapping with a complete stranger that your driving instructor has told you about, you are never going to be giving your personal details to the other person. Never. Nothing about it. Because when you do the swap, or if you're doing the swap, you're going to be on the phone, and then the DVSA is going to phone the other person. So no personal details are going to be swapped between you. Do not share your details with another person when you're doing this, especially if it's a stranger. Okay. I will talk about this much more in a bit. Okay. Where was I? Learners themselves are responsible for finding someone that they want to swap with. So you might have a mate. Yeah, your driving instructor might tell you about somebody who wants the swap. Okay, but you're not giving details out. DVSA does not run, approve, or endorse any system, website, or service that lists, matches, or brokers test swaps. How does a test swap work, guys? I'm going to be talking about this in depth in a minute. Learners must arrange swaps themselves. If 2 learners agree to swap tests, DVSA can process the swap by phone independently. Both learners must be available at the same time, so their identity and consent can be confirmed before the swap is completed. They must be available at the same time, but you are not going to be telling them, I'm going to go through it, you're not going to tell them any information about yourselves. But you need to be available on the phone at the same time. Can instructors swap tests on behalf of learners? No. Instructors cannot request or complete a swap on behalf of learners. If an instructor has 2 pupils who may want to swap, they can facilitate that discussion if both learners agree, but the learners must contact the DVSA themselves. Will learners or instructors receive a confirmation email after the swap? No. There is currently no confirmation email issued after the swap is completed. So you just have to have faith, guys, faith. When a swap has been actioned, how will the ADI, the approved driving instructor, be informed? The learner should inform their driving instructor that the swap has been made. How will the DVSA obtain the second learner's phone number for the swaps? Okay, because you don't even need to know that, right? The DVSA's contact centre can obtain detail through the booking reference number. So I guess you need to know the booking reference number. Learners need to make sure they update their records. If there is no contact information, the swap will not be processed. Do the learners have to be available at the same time for the swap? Yes, both learners need to be available at the same time to confirm their details and consent to the swap. If either learner is unavailable, the swap will not be processed. How exactly does the DVSA authenticate the learners on swap calls? DVSA will undertake security checks with learners to ensure they are speaking to the correct person. Driving instructors and availability. Can instructors still see available test slots? No. Instructors will not be able to see test availability. Learners will see the available tests when they book. This is about the OBS system and basically what we've set up if we give you our ADI number. I don't think that's very interesting, but you can read that if you want to. The PDI and ADI is going to be much more interested in that stuff, guys. Okay. Third-party services and apps. So these are all the cancellation services that you've been probably using before if you've failed a test. Are cancellation or test finding apps allowed? No. The use of third-party apps, bots, or automated services breaches the terms and conditions of the booking system. What action can the DVSA take if terms and conditions are breached? Where a breach of the terms and conditions have occurred, we will take some or all of the following actions. Contact the learner to confirm the details for your booking or request additional information, issue a warning notice, revoke your ability to book and manage a driving or riding test online, reschedule or cancel your booking. We will report any attacks or attempts to gain unauthorized access to the service to the relevant law enforcement authorities and share relevant information with them. Okay, so they're just trying to stop all the bots, aren't they? Test availability and waiting times. Oh, this is really sad. The booking reforms are focused on fairness and equity, not directly on reducing waiting times. Waiting times may remain similar overall, though regional differences may become more visible. So yeah, the DVSA contact centre, has any measures been put in place to manage the increase in calls and the length of calls handled by DVSA call centre? Yes, DVSA has put in measures to maximise resource and assist with a possible increase in traffic and or handling times. Will the opening hours of the call centre be extended? In February 2026, we extended public opening times from 8 till 4 to 8 till 5. Opening hours will not be extended any further. Geolocation. Can learners book or change tests at non-local test centres? For example, my pupil lives 100 miles away but intends to take his test whilst at uni at my local test centre. Is that possible? After the 9th of June, a learner can book a test in any test centre. At that point, if they want to move the test centre, they will be restricted to the 3 closest test centres. Test refunds. If a learner cancels a test originally booked by an instructor who receives the refund, the test fee will always go back to the original payments. This could be 1 or more payment cards or even a pre-funded accounts. Booking. Oh, that's it. Right. So that's it. So let me just go to the, to make it more detailed about what we're actually dealing with here. Just bear with me. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, that took ages. I finally found it. I couldn't find it on where I was trying to find it, so I'm just going to read it to you from the government website. I felt like Russell Brand trying to find that bit of information with Piers Morgan. That was just very uncomfortable for a minute. Okay, right, swapping your driving test with another learner driver. Guys, this is proper detailed. Oh my goodness, this is so, you're going to have to listen. You may be able to swap your car driving test with another learner driver by phone if both already have a test booked and want each other's test slot. Blah, blah, blah. What a driving test swap is. Swapping is different from changing your test. You are not finding a new date or time. You and another learner driver are exchanging your existing bookings with each other. Swapping your driving test counts as one of the 2 changes that you're allowed to make. Who can swap a driving test? From the 12th of May, 2026, you can only swap your own car driving test with another learner driver. You must both want to swap to each other's exact test date, time, and test centre. And then there's an exclamation mark with blatantly the wrong date on it. From the 12th of May, 2026, that's supposed to say you are not allowed to change, swap, or cancel a driving test for somebody else. Check if you can swap. You can swap your car driving test with another learner driver if all of the following apply. Right, listen up, peeps. How many changes have you got left? You both need at least one of your 2 allowed changes available. You cannot swap if either of you have used both changes. When your tests are booked, you must request the swap at least 10 full working days before the earliest of the 2 tests. Monday to Saturday count as working days. Sunday and public holidays do not count. Where your tests are booked. Before the 9th of June 2026, you can swap a test with a learner booked at any driving test centre. From the 9th of June 2006, you can only swap with a learner driver whose test is booked at either the same test centre as you, one of the 3 nearest test centres to you, the test centre you first booked at. Check that both your test centres meet this location rule before you call the DVSA. A swap can only go ahead if the location rule is met for both of you. What type of test have you booked? You can only swap with a learner who has the same type of test booking as you. This means weekday tests, the £62 one, can only swap with other weekday tests. An evening, weekend and bank holiday test, which is the £75 one, can only swap with the same. Tests given extra time due to disability, health conditions or learning difficulty can only swap with the same. Extended tests, driving tests for disqualified drivers on weekdays, which is 124, can only swap with the same. Extended driving tests for disqualified drivers at evenings, weekends and bank holiday, which is the 151, can only swap with the same. I mean, that's near to impossible, isn't it, to find that? Check your driving instructors are available. Before making the swap, both of you should check with your driving instructors that they agree that you will be ready to take the test on the dates that you're swapping to. Guys, do that. All right, you and your driving instructors, you're a team, yeah? If you fail or get too, basically we're on a triggering system. So if you get more than 6 minors, your driving instructor gets triggered. If you get serious and dangerous, you get a trigger. Your driving instructor gets a trigger. Yeah, your driving instructor may not actually allow you to take their car because they don't think that you're ready. You're a team. Yeah, you can't really just say my test is next week to a driving instructor. It's not fair. Yeah, you're a team. You can't do that to your driving instructor because they have to do exams to prove their worth and that they're doing their job correctly. Do you know what I mean? Because you're a team, yeah. Make sure that they will be available to take you to your driving test on that date, time and test centre that you're swapping to. How to swap your driving test. You can only swap your driving test by phone. You cannot do it online, by email, by web chat, by text message, using the DVSA WhatsApp account, using DVSA social media accounts. You both need to be available at the same time to speak to the Driver and Vehicle Standard Agency, DVSA. You do not need to be together, as the DVSA will call the other learner. What you need before you call, make sure you have your own driving licence number, your own driving test booking reference number, the details of the payment card you use to book your test. You do not need this if your driving instructor booked the test for you before the rules changed. Details about the driving tests you've taken before. The person who calls the DVSA will also need the other learner's drivers, the person who calls the DVSA will also need the other learner's driver's driving test booking reference number. To make the swap, DVSA will never ask you for your payment cards. Shall I just start that again? Right, I'm starting that again. That was absolutely terrible. I'm reading that again. What you need before you call, make sure you have your own driving license number, your own driving test booking reference number, the details of the payment card you used before you booked your test. You do not need this if your driving instructor booked the test before the rules changed. Details about any driving test that you've taken before. The person who calls the DVSA will also need the other learner's driving test booking reference number because that's how they get the phone number of the other person that you're swapping to. To make the swap, DVSA will never ask you for payment cards, the full details of your bank cards or security code, fine, yeah. To protect your personal data, never give your driving license number, theory test, pass certificate number, address, phone number, email address, or payment card details to another learner driver. Guys, this is freaking me out. This bit freaks me out. I really hope that my video gets to everybody before. Do not give your details to any stranger that is trying to just say that they're changing your test. That is unnecessary. You don't need it. The only thing that you need of the other person, if you're phoning the DVSA, is their booking reference number, and the DVSA will call them. All right? Data protection. What to do before you call. Check that your driving test booking has your correct phone number and email address. Yeah, so this is basically what you need to do if the contact details are wrong. DVSA will use the contact details on your booking to complete the swap. Updating your contact details does not use one of your available changes. So if you need to do this, sign in with your driving license number and booking reference number. On the View Bookings page, select Change next to Candidate Details, enter your address, email address and telephone number and save for that changes. How the call works, do not call unless both of you are free to take part in the call. You need to make sure that both of you are going to be available at 5 p.m. or not 5 p.m. because they'd be shut by then. Roz, come on. Make sure that you're available at 12 or whatever, both of you at the same time so they can phone both of you at the same time, okay? But you do not give any details to the stranger that you might be talking to or even your mate or your school friend. You don't need to do any of that. The DVSA does that for you. Do not call unless you are both free to take part in the call. One of you calls the DVSA to request the swap. 2, DVSA completes security checks with the person who called. You must confirm you agree to the swap. 3, you give the DVSA the other learner's driving booking reference number. That's the only thing that you need of the other person. That's the only thing that you need. You will not be asked for their name or their contact details. 4, DVSA puts you on hold and calls the other learner driver. DVSA will only call them on the phone number that's recorded for their booking. It will not accept a different number from you. 5, DVSA will complete security checks with the other learner driver. They must confirm they agree to the swap. 6, DVSA returns to you and completes the swap. The DVSA will not complete the swap if either of you fails the security check, does not agree to a legal declaration, does not agree for the swap to go ahead, has already used both of the 2 allowed changes. DVSA will not be able to complete the swap if the learner driver you're swapping with does not answer the phone. The phone number for the learner driver you're swapping with is wrong on the booking service. Both of your driving tests will stay the same if that's the case. After you've swapped, once the swap is complete, you will have the other learner's driving original test date, time and test centre. Sorry, just running out of battery. Where were we? Sorry. After you have swapped, once the swap is complete, you will have the other learner driver's original driving test date, time and test centre. They will have yours. Both booking records will be updated. Make sure you note the details of your new test slot after the call. You will keep your booking reference number. It will stay the same. Your payment details, any special requirements you added to your booking, and you will not get an email confirmation. But the next reminder email you get from the DVSA about your tests will have the new details. Okay, guys. I hope that covers all your new questions about it, and I'm sorry it was so long, but that's everything that you need to know, okay? Do not give your details out to anyone anyone. You only need the booking reference number of the other learner driver if you're doing a swap, okay? Don't give out your information. Peace and carrots. All right. Have a nice day.